up? What is up? What is up, everyone? Everyone, everyone. It is another day, another time, and another week for yours and my favorite Monday night show, y'all. And I ain't talking about Monday night football, and I ain't talking about Monday night basketball. I'm talking about Real Talk Monday, you all. Like, we are in the building, y'all. We are here, we are here, we are here. I am your host, James H. Glover III, and I am here with my big sis, Miss Hannah Irby. What is up, sis?
Hey.
How
Hey.
you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. I'm good. I am happy to be on Will Talk Monday tonight because y'all, we got a good show for y'all tonight. I just hope y'all ready because we got a great one for you all tonight, and I feel like it's a conversation that needs to be had. So since I will start us off with the questions tonight, since I always pick on you first, and then we'll go from there. So tonight we are talking about why saying no is spiritual growth. Why saying no is spiritual growth. Ooh. First off, what goes through your mind when you hear saying no is spiritual growth?
When I say no, I feel like that's a boundary. And that's good and that's healthy. So saying no is really good to me. It's actually very empowering in this season.
Yeah, for real, it really is because what it does is it shows people that like, look, in this season, I'm not playing. My yes means yes, and my no means no. Like, I'm not playing with nobody in this season. Like, it comes a point in your life where you get tired of being sick and tired, and when you get to that point, when it gets to the point to where it's me or it's you, I'm choosing me 365 days out of the year. I got to. For my mental health, for my physical health, for my emotional health. Like, I gotta choose me in this season. So the first question that I got for us on tonight is: have you ever said yes to a situation and then you instantly regretted it?
Yes.
All
Like
right.
you're moving in the flesh, you're being a people pleaser, you set yourself up and you say yes to things that you should not be saying yes to.
I agree. Like, there's times where even me, like, I've definitely been there where I've said, you know what, yeah, I got you, I got you, I got you. Yeah, I can do this. Since me and you have had this conversation, where there's certain things that if I could go back, I'm not saying I would say no, but what I'm saying is it would make me, knowing what I know now, I would reconsider some things. And I think that comes with growth because as you grow and as you learn, you get to that point to where you like, you know what? As when I was a child, I spake as a child, I behaved as a child, I acted as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. So I'm gonna let you ask the next one.
What do boundaries look like?
Boundaries look like anything that is something that you are not accepting, something that you are not accepting right now, but you're putting that red flag, like, you know what, at this point, if you cross this line, then it's a no go. It's like that red light. In other words, like, it's that situation where you're like, you know what, at this point, it's a no go. Like, you cross this line, we done, ain't no coming back from it. Like, what's understood needs not to be explained. And one thing that is a boundary for me at this point is not respecting my no. Like, if I said no, it's for a reason. You don't have to understand it, but I'm saying you gotta respect it because in this season, like, I have went so long trying to please others and trying to make sure that everybody else was good. I'm not doing that in this season. Like I'm in that season where if it's between me or you, I'm choosing me,
Hmm.
like we just said. So I'm gonna let you go. What about you? What do you think
Um,
look like for you?
so boundaries look like to me, for me, boundaries are just self-respect. I'm honoring my needs when I have my boundaries and I enforce my boundaries. It's clarity because you're keeping people direct. You're not misleading them, so they know what the expectation is. Um, you just letting people know what is acceptable for you and what is not. You're setting your standard, and your standards, you stick to them, and eventually people will get on board with them. It might be hard because you're changing your dynamic and relationships with people, but the people that are meant to be in your life are meant to be in your life. They're gonna
Okay.
like it or they're gonna keep it moving.
So have you ever had anybody come to you and because you changed the way that you was doing things, they looked at you and said like, but I've always been able to handle you in this way. How did you
Yes.
maneuver that? How did you maneuver that? Because for some people, they will be like, well, since you're used to me acting in this way, let me continue acting in this way. That way, I'm not having to like deal with hurting your feelings. But in all honesty, I'm lessening how I feel. So, how did you deal with that?
I think as I do it now, I try to explain it more because it is very hurtful to the person on the other end. But with my boundaries, if you explain to them and you just, express yourself fully and saying, these boundaries are not an attack of you or saying you're not good enough to be in my life. These boundaries are in place because I have goals. And to reach my goals, I have to function at a certain level. And to function at a certain level, I have to have that structure and routine and that self discipline to achieve these things. I will not achieve these things by trying to not enforce my boundaries. And I think explaining that to them and just, let them know it's not a personal attack. This is something that I'm doing and my reason behind you. Don't say, oh, because I'm trying to be a millionaire. Oh, because I'm trying to have, break generational curses or, oh, it's just something I want to do or it's my business. You know, tell them because you don't want to tell everybody everything you're doing. Um, but you definitely could just give them the basics of, I'm trying to get to certain levels in my life. I want to reach certain goals. And to reach those things effectively, I cannot do that anymore. And I'm sorry if it hurt you. I'm sorry if you feel betrayed. But this is where the direction that I'm moving forward in.
I like that. I like that. And I think one of the things that you have to do is you have to respect the fact also that it's gonna take them some time to get used to. Because just like it took you some time to like get to the point to where you're changing, you're gonna have to accept the fact that guess what? It's gonna have to take him some time to be like, yo, I can't address him in this way. Now you can respect that fact, but you can also lessen your dealings with those people until they get to the point to where they are like, you know what, look, I respect them, so since I respect them, let me change how I deal with them. If this is their deal breaker, let me be like, you know what, let me deal with them in a way that they need to be dealt with so that they can understand that I'm here to be an asset and not a liability. I think Medea said it best. People are There's three type of people in your life. You put them in the category of a tree. Some of them are like a leaf on the tree. Some of them are like the roots on the tree, and some of them are those branches. You got to figure out where those people fit in your life, and everybody can't go with you into your next season. Let me be real, they can't. You gotta understand that, like, look, where I'm going now, I can't take all of you with me.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, your assignment has been completed. And I think a lot of times where we mess up is we wait till springtime to do cleaning, or we wait till New Year's to do a New Year. New Me. No, when I feel disrespect coming, New Year, new me. I'm not dealing with that no more. I don't have to wait till January 1st. So I'm waiting till January 1st to deal with this. And while I'm waiting on January 1st, I'm dealing with chaos, drama, and confusion. My cutoff game so strong now it ain't even funny.
Hmm.
I'm 36 years old. What do I look like dealing with drama at the big age of 36? Come on, somebody. Like, we don't have time for that now. We over here being parents. We over here being running businesses. We over here doing what God called us to do. We're over here living healed and high valued. We don't have time for the drama in this season. Mm, I got one for you. How can you tell that you have grown? How can you tell that you have grown? And we thank you all for joining in. We want y'all to like, we want y'all to share, and we want y'all to tag and subscribe because these subscribers' numbers are going up. So we need y'all to keep on doing that. Let's go.
Hmm.
How can you tell you've grown?
I can tell that I have grown because a lot of situations that would trigger me no longer trigger me. My reactions to those situations is so different that it actually blows my mind. Um, I make me a priority and taking care of me a priority. That's definitely a form of growth when you have that self love for yourself and you prioritize yourself and the things that you need to do for you. That's a big one too. But just the reaction is not the same to scenarios, and the scenarios definitely come out on Easter. People, it never fails. Resurrection Day, everything resurrects. That does not
Right.
need.
You get them hey big head tags. You get them. Oh, you done forgot about me tags. Everybody want to resurrect from the dead. Now you ain't Jesus. You are not Jesus.
Correct. I just, I don't want to insert it's just like, and the reaction when your reaction is totally something you like, oh, that ain't nothing but God. Cause I know. And I said, thank you for growth.
Yeah.
Thank you for healing me. Thank you for making me whole. And most importantly, thank you for being an amazing father to me.
Mm,
Hmm.
man, when I tell you, I can tell I've grown by the way that certain things don't even bother me no more. Like you said, like I could sit down and have a conversation with somebody about something, and even if I don't agree with what they're saying, I can agree to disagree. Somebody can tell me that they don't want to do business with me in this area anymore. Yo, bet. May God bless you and heaven continue to smile upon you. You just took some load off of my plate. You just took a load off of my plate. Like, I'm not even mad about it. Like, why am I going to get mad at the fact that you are helping me? Why would I get mad at somebody for helping me get to a point to where I need to be? Why would I get mad at somebody for helping me de-stress? Like, you don't get mad about that. You thank them for helping you de-stress because they really are. What they're really doing is showing you that, like, guess what? I wasn't really for you anyway. And
Well,
if I
everything is a lesson. You were for
yeah,
me in that chapter, in that lesson,
yeah,
but now we move past that. And as we move past that, I wish you well.
yeah. And it's like it's no hard feelings, but we not doing that no more. It's like there's certain things where even with me, I will be honest with you all and say I used to always be the one to wonder what if, what if, what if, what if, what if. If God has shown me more than once what this is, why do I keep running back to it and asking God to deliver me from it? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So if I want something different, I gotta be different. I gotta move different. I gotta act different. I gotta behave different. I gotta I gotta deal differently. So we gotta move with intentionality. We can't move for where we are. We gotta move for where we're going, and we gotta act as if we already there.
That's true. That's the big. You have to already be in that mindset, like. And once you get in that mind, and I said it because I'm operating in the mindset, and everything is coming. Like the orders are coming,
Hmm.
the weight is coming off, the body is changing, the mindset is different. We ain't cussing the kids out no more. We pulling Bible verses, we praying, making that time every day to read that Bible, get through that Bible in a year, praying through so many trials and tribulations, and just everything before you decide on it. Just being like, let me pray about it. Like anything he wants me to do, I'm like, let me think about it. I'm really going to pray about it. Let me pray about it. I
Let me
don't make
fast
any
on it.
decision.
Let me,
I hadn't been fasting too much. We just came off a fast, and Bella got sick. But I'm not right now. I'm just really educating and building my mind.
I like that. I like that.
Mhm.
And I think even for us with this podcast, if y'all notice, I had to Hannah got on me for the way that I would show up sometimes, with the way that I would dress when I would come on. And she's like, if we're wanting the brand deals and if we're wanting God to take us to another level, we gotta dress as if we belong on those other levels. And that is true. You can't ask God to enlarge your territory when you walk in mediocrity. Some of us is telling God, I want you to enlarge my territory, but we still walking around with a project mindset. We want a mansion, but we walking around with a project mindset.
Mhm. Yep.
The two don't match. All right, your turn. Oh, let's ask the next one.
The next question: can being unequally yoked hinder your spiritual growth?
For sure. It can, for sure. Because the scripture even tells us how can two walk together unless they agree. So I can pray for you all that I want. And I can pray that you get what God has for you all I want. But if I'm praying for you and you telling me that you praying for me, okay, but I'm praying to God. Who you praying to? So being unequally yoked can definitely mess up your spiritual growth. Because in the end of the day, what you're doing is you are not aligning yourself with the way that God would have you to go. Because in all honesty, what you are doing is you're saying, God, I know you got a plan for me, but let me spin the block over here and let me deal with this.
Mm.
And then once this don't work, if this don't work, God, I'm gonna come back and ask you to deliver me from it. But this is just a crazy thought. Instead of asking God to deliver you from a situation when you know there's a possibility that it might not work, why not ask God, God, give me the way that you would have me to go and watch how that turns out?
Mhm.
Just a thought.
Mhm. It's a
What you
good
think?
thought.
What you think? Can being unequally yoked hinder your spiritual growth?
Definitely. Because if one person is growing spiritually and the other isn't, you're going to feel, somebody's going to feel misunderstood. You're going to compromise your beliefs. You'll be pulled away from your standards. Spiritual growth requires.
She will be back, y'all. She'll be back. She'll be back. But y'all, yeah, you gotta be aligned spiritually. You have to. Like if you ain't aligned spiritually, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You got to be aligned spiritually, emotionally, physically. Like, if I'm telling you that my faith, we don't have to agree on everything, but there's got to be something that we agree on. Like, even if the way that we was raised is different, that's okay. Guess what? There's something that we can agree on, though.
I just dropped off.
Yeah, yeah. You good? I got you. You were
Okay.
saying that if one doesn't,
Hmm.
and it dropped you off.
Right. Spiritual growth requires alignment. When you're headed in different directions, and I have personally experienced this, one may want growth, prayer, and discipline, and the other may not value those things. It becomes harder and slower. They're going to be reacting in the flesh. They're not going to be self calibrated. They're not going to be able to handle situations and scenarios in the same way you can. So when there's conflict, they're going to react in a way that doesn't align with where you are spiritually, emotionally, and that's going to cause the conflict. Also, just being unequally yoked, it doesn't mean the relationship is doomed. We're not saying that, but it does mean that you'll need strong boundaries. You may face spiritual conflict, and it may require extra effort or difficult decisions. And I ain't got time for that. We just can't do that in this season. Time is too precious, and you got to be all the way potential.
Mm. So, in other words, what you're saying is you ain't got time for nobody to be lukewarm in this season.
We don't do lukewarm.
I agree. We don't,
Mhm.
because in this season, like, I ain't got time for that. Like,
Mhm.
we either all in or we all out.
Mhm. I want a healthy, aligned connection that will support my growth and not compete with me.
Mm.
Mhm.
And that goes for friendship. That goes with family. That goes with all of it. Like,
Mhm.
if it ain't healthy, I don't want it.
Mhm.
Now, don't get me wrong. Junk food. I'm a junk food junkie. I love junk food.
And fast food. Let's be
Yeah.
fully transparent. And it's
Let's be fully
you
transparent.
love
I
fast
love
food.
fast food
I
and
do
junk food.
not. I do not.
But I also understand that fast food and junk food ain't always good for you. Because just because it's fast and it's easy doesn't mean that it's good for you. Sometimes you need something that is home cooked, that is under that heat, that's under that pressure, that takes time to cook. It's not a quick process, but it's going to be just as good for you, but better for you. So, do you want the fast food or do you want the home cooked? And a lot of us are taking our relationship with God and making it a fast food. And really, all we really need to do is allow it to be a home cook and allow Him to work some things out in our life. Yeah, it may take some time. Rome wasn't built in a day,
Mhm.
but you gotta take your time and be consistent and be patient. I will be honest with you all, even over here, transferring to YouTube, it was different because I was used to doing everything on Facebook and then bringing it to YouTube later. But after I was obedient and after I did what God told me to do, after it had been confirmed to me a couple of times, I've started to see slowly but surely the growth, the growth. And I'm like, okay, God, okay, I'm seeing what you're doing. I see what you're doing over here now. I didn't understand it, but guess what? I understand why you have me come over here. Yeah, it's not as quick of a growth, but guess what? It's still gonna be it's gonna be better. So, and we definitely want better and not quick.
Hmm.
All right, I'll let you ask the next one.
When do you know it's time to go to the next level?
Oof, when do you know that it's time to go to the next level? You know it's time to go to the next level when you tired of mediocrity.
Mhm.
When you tired of being sick and tired, it's time for that next level. I've said this before, I will say it again. When you become the smartest person in the room, it's time to get in another room because you've learned everything that you can learn there. And let me be honest, when it's time to go to that next level, God's going to make it uncomfortable for you on that level that you are on. He is going to make it to where you're miserable on that level that you are, just to show you that, yeah, I'm trying to take you higher. What about you?
Um, you're gonna tell that you've outgrown it. You're gonna be restless or unfilled. It just feels like you're like a hamster on the wheel. It's the
Hmm.
same cycle. Um,
Okay.
And the discomfort is a signal of this our time has expired. We need to go someplace else. We need to do something different.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's just your standards have changed. It's not that sometimes just people grow and they change and what used to work just doesn't work anymore.
I can agree with that. Like what
Hmm.
used to work for me in the previous season doesn't work no more
Hmm.
because guess what? Like we've grown.
Hmm.
So with us growing, guess what? Just because you was able to get me one way, you shouldn't be able to get me that same way
Hmm.
5 years later. Like within those 5 years, something in me ought to changed.
Right.
And if something in me hasn't changed, then that's a problem.
Hmm.
All right. So the next question that I got is, let's see, how did you learn to be a better version of yourself? How did you learn to be a better version of yourself?
It's for me. My little co-pilot over here. So you have to have self-awareness and know what is going on with yourself first. Like you have to really sit down and evaluate yourself. Um, what habits are you doing that are hurting you? What patterns do you keep repeating? What do you need to heal or grow from? Growth starts with truth, not perfection. Healing what you've been carrying, old wounds, past relationships, trauma, limiting beliefs. You don't level up by ignoring the pain. You level up by working through it. You have to get that discipline over motivation. I go through this with my meal prep, my working out 4 days a week, in between working 2 jobs and dropping orders daily, um, and being a mother and being present and a provider. And so the motivation comes and goes. There are times where I really don't want to go to the gym. There are times where I really don't feel like shipping orders. There are times where I just want to lay in the bed and just I need to reset and refocus. Today was one of those days, but I wasn't really reset and focused. I was locked in on school all day because I'm also finishing my degree. You have to just set daily habits and be consistent in showing up even when you don't feel like it. And every time that you do it when you don't feel like it, you're growing more and more. You have to change your environment. There are certain people that in my family that I just can't be around too long because you have to be around a certain type of people to function at that level. It's just a certain energy level you have to be on. Some people are just a little negative, toxic, or they're vibrating so low, it brings you down. Um, And you just have to choose yourself every time. You have to know that you matter. You have to know that your goals are important and you have to know that you can achieve it. So you have to set boundaries, say no when needed, and walking away when necessary. You don't become a better version of yourself overnight. This is a process, it takes time. You can gain 30 pounds in a month, but it might take you 2 years to get it off. I know. Letting go of what no longer fits and just staying committed to your growth because you know that it is important to you, even when it's uncomfortable, because you want to get to the finish line. You want to climb to the next level. That's how I do it.
And that's powerful. That's powerful. For me, it is when I know that it's time to go to that next level. Or I know when I know that it's time for me to be a better version of myself, is when things that used to bother me don't even bother me no more. I get to the point to where if it's not about God, my family, or my business, I ain't really concerned with it
Mhm.
because it's like at this point in my life, I have dealt so long trying to be Superman for so many people that when I need saving myself, who was there to save me? Like, legit, I can tell y'all this year alone, 2026, oof, 2026 has been a year. And what it taught me was that you can't expect everybody to have that same energy that you have. What 2026 has taught me is that just because I'm quick to say, yo, if I walk with you, I'm walking with you the hard way, I can't expect everybody to have that same mentality because everybody ain't built the same. When I tell you some of the stuff that I dealt with in 2026, like there's a few people that's in my inner circle that they know what's up. They walked with me, allowed me to yell, allowed me to vent, allowed me to cry, allowed me to just be human. I didn't have to be Reverend Glover at that moment. I didn't have to be James from James S. Glover Studios. I could just be a regular human. And I appreciate them more than they ever know. And they know what's up. Like, legit. This year has taught me to be a better version of myself. It taught me that I don't have to be perfect because there's only one person that was ever perfect, and that was Jesus Christ. But it also taught me how to set boundaries. I gotta have a certain time where business is done, where at a certain hour you can't get me because guess what? I gotta spend family time. My sister Hannah taught me that where that phone goes on D and D after a certain hour, and I appreciate that. I didn't understand it, but now I do. Why it's so important. So for me to be a better version of myself, what's taught me to do that is spending time with God, getting into that secret place, getting in His face. God, what is it that you want me to learn from these situations that I'm going through? Because I know every test, every trial, every tribulation that I go through is for a reason. So, God, allow me to get what I'm supposed to get out of it so that I could be a help to somebody else. Because so many times we ask God, God, why am I going through this? Why am I going through that? But I've switched that around. I don't ask God, why am I? I say, God, why not me? Why shouldn't I go through these things? I'm no better than anybody else. So why should I not have to go through troubles? Why should I not have to go through trials? Why should I not have to go through tribulations? But at the end of the day, what it also taught me is I got somebody on my side that when I go through those things, he's right there with me. So it's made my prayer life get stronger. That's how I became a better man. My prayer life has gotten stronger. My spending time with God is more important. It's most important because that's the only way that I'm gonna be a better version of myself. Yeah, y'all getting full transparency tonight because I'll be real with y'all. Like, so the this series, y'all, is a different type of series. Hannah and I both said that this is a different one. It's not one of those cookie cutter ones, you know. It's one of those that's gonna make you really sit down and think. And that's what I like about it. And I'm hoping that it's doing the same thing for y'all. I'm hoping that it's making you sit down and really reflect. Because let's be honest, we have a lot of other stuff on the internet, but we don't have a lot of the conversations that really make you sit down and really reflect on where God's brought you from and what He's doing in your life. So we're hoping that this series and conversations like this can be that for you. Got anything you want to add, sis?
No, this is a great episode. I'm looking forward to next week. And you guys keep tuning in, like and share. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And also, y'all, be on the lookout next week. Because at some point next week, I think y'all might be surprised at some stuff that we got coming out. So just be on the lookout. We ain't saying much, but just be on the lookout, y'all. As I always say, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning some things that we look at as bad, God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else, y'all. God bless y'all. And I'm gonna let my sister hit me, y'all, with that fire one that I love.
Don't let your procrastination be the assassination of your success.
That's the one. I'm not playing. I need a t-shirt with that on it. For real. I need that. So y'all, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And we will see y'all next week. But make sure y'all tune in tomorrow night because Walking in Kingdom Destiny is back on tomorrow night. Peace. We love y'all.
Thank you for watching the James H. Glover Studios exclusive episode. We pray you've been blessed. Please like, follow, share, and subscribe to all of our stations. Be blessed.